Welcome to another edition of 202 Creates Masterclass. I'm your host for today, Britt Waters, and I'm excited to listen and learn with you. But before we get into the session, let's talk about what exactly 202 Creates is. It's an initiative of the DC Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment, led by our fearless leader who's dedicated to the city, Director Angie M. Gates. Now, I know you've seen the 202 Creates on t-shirts, some of our events, but we actually tap into creatives on a much more personal level, celebrating them, promoting them, educating them, and getting them to their goals. We also have a lot of resources that you should definitely tap into. Our entrepreneurship program, providing technical assistance, this masterclass series, and of course, our biannual residency program. So if you want to get more details on all of this, go to 202creates.com. And if you know someone in the district who might want to need these resources, also go to 202creates.com. But without further ado, let's jump right into this session. Let's hear from Malachai Johns of Go-Go Ticks and Alive and Big Tony Fisher of Trouble Funk.
We'd like to kick off today's program by introducing our featured speaker, my friend and DC's own Big Tony, aka Tony Fisher of Trouble Funk. Welcome, Tony.
Man, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Trouble Funk is synonymous with the emergence of the non-stop percussion-driven music called go-go, which we all know and love. Trouble Funk has taken their sound from the gritty streets of DC and to the clubs of the nation and festivals around the world for the past 40 plus years. The band burst onto the Washington, D.C. music scene in 1978. Trouble Funk in its infancy consisted of the writing team of band leader, bassist, and vocalists, our very own Big Tony Fisher, keyboardist, R.I.P. Robert Psych Dyke Reed, and James Avery, and trumpet player Taylor Reed. Drop the Bomb was the first go-go recording to be released outside of Washington, D.C. and was released on the pioneering label Sugar Hill Records. Big Tony, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, man, for having me. I'm excited to get into it, man. Let's go.
Indeed, indeed. That's quite an intro. It's quite an intro. Right. So 202 Creates is all about aiding creatives in DC with understanding the business landscape behind their craft. If you could share, what are some important business lessons you learned during your successful music career?
Don't give your music away. Well,
What do you mean by that?
Well, when we started off, we were very young, man. And, we did this for the love of it. We didn't have a lot of responsibilities. And we didn't know the business. We didn't know the business like we know now. And I'm still learning the business, But one of the main lessons I personally learned is to never give your publishing away. You never, give your writer's rights and all that stuff. We lost a lot of rights to our music, and we're still going through some legal litigations now to try to get some of that stuff back, man. We just didn't know any better, and we didn't have good representation. So that's one of the things that one of the messages I would get out to any of the up and coming musicians that really that writes original music is that know the business, learn the business, protect your publishing.
Gotcha. So that sort of leads me to the next question. What advice would you give to musicians who are challenged by navigating the current entertainment landscape? Would you say getting good representation, to help guide you through those challenges like you described is probably one of the better things?
Oh, absolutely, man. It's a must. I mean, whatever you don't know about the business is a must that you get somebody that can represent you, management, legal representation, whatever. It's important that you get somebody that know the business until you can learn. It's going to help you protect your writers and stuff like that.
Do you have any advice on if you don't know the business, how do you know you're bringing somebody on that does know the business to represent you?
Well, there's so many ways you can go by doing that, man. Being honest, man. I mean, it's just in this business here, it's just hard finding someone that you can trust. This is one of those businesses, man. I've been blessed to have people, you know, to know people like yourself. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, I'm still a student of the game, man. I've learned so much from you, man. It's like, you know, and I'm 60 years old, so you know what I'm saying?
The feeling is mutual.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, you know, you're always learning. Me, myself, you know, believe it or not, man, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. You know, that's one of the cheaper ways or more inexpensive ways that you can go and learn a lot about the business.
Absolutely. It's something that neither you or I had the luxury of when we were coming up is the internet, being able to learn how to do anything. Yeah. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, the resources back then was very minimum. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially if you didn't have no money.
Right. Exactly.
Very
most
little of that
musicians
back
don't.
then. Yeah.
Indeed.
Back then, man, we had so little money. It's like in the studio, you know, it's like the session was over when we ran out of money. We had to go wrap.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, how did you feel to see the go-go bill being signed and passed unanimously by Muriel Bowser and the DC Council?
Man, it was a great feeling, man.
Music.
It was a really great feeling, man. Honestly, man, I had an accident back then, so I was bedridden for about 4 months. And man, I had tears in my eyes, man. It was like, it was just so overdue. It was like, I was just so happy to see that. And it's like, it meant the world to me. And it's like, well, now that we got that out the way, what's the next move?
Right. Well, I was going to ask you if you did anything to celebrate, but I guess, you know, you were in the hospital bed, so there wasn't much you could do, I guess. But
well, actually, there was some good out of being, it was a lot that happened in spite of all the crazy things that happened with the COVID stuff. And then my accident, I actually landed a deal with ESPN to do their new theme song because they moved back to DC. So I had to actually I had to arrange that and produce it from my bedside. I had my band go in the studio and we did Zoom and I actually arranged that and produced it from my bedside. So that was a challenge. Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds fun though. How, outside of those directly within the go-go community, how can others continue to advocate for and preserve the go-go culture, you think?
Well, man, again, there's so many ways that, well, number one, I would love to see more support from the radio stations. You know what I'm saying? I would, you know, I'm grateful for what little bit they do, but I just believe they can do more, especially by DC being, you know, go-go being the official music of DC now. It's like, I think there is a lot of music in DC, go-go music in particular, that deserves to be in regular rotation instead of just being played for 1 hour a day. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. Again, I think that we need to create more positive music to try to reach the younger generation and get positive messages out to make a change. Because as we all know, you know, it's like and it's not just DC, it's anywhere you go, you know, the violent thing is real on the streets, man. So I would like for us musicians to get more involved in trying to get a more positive message across of, you know, stopping some of this madness. Yeah, I can go on and on and on, but those are just some of the things I personally would like to see advocated. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. So we're seeing people, you know, like Big G becoming really involved in the community and doing things, you know, other than just, you know, writing positive music and doing performances. Are there any other ways that you think artists can use sort of their influence and their voice to do what you're talking about, to try to curb some of the violence? I mean, I think we've always kind of had to stop the violent songs and those kind of things, but there are any more tangible ways that you think we can actually dig in and help with that problem?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, just get out here, get involved, man. Just actually get involved, get in the mix of just going out here in these streets, man, and and just trying to make a difference, man. I believe that if we were to unify more, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I believe there's strength in numbers, you know what I'm saying? And if we all the leaders like myself that's been around for a minute, Big G, you know, all the lead figures, head figures that the people look up to, then we all get together and unify ourselves and show a little bit more unity. I think that would set a very positive example alone, you know what I'm saying? Like the conversation we're having now is like, I think we should create more diverse, you know, diversity as far as, you know, you taking advantage of the go-go radio and, you know, just do more things like that. You know what I'm saying? That's
Gotcha.
me. Yeah.
What would you like to see next for DC residents and the go-go scene? Like, what do you think the next step is? What's the next milestone for our culture?
Well, I would like to see somebody get a Grammy, at least a Soul Train award or something.
Well, we made a small step this year with CeeLo showing some love, but we need to take the next step, so it's one of us on stage for sure.
Well, and I would also like to see more artists give acknowledgement like CeeLo. You know what I'm saying? That because a lot of artists is using our go-go music, but they're not really making it acknowledge that this is DC's own. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, big ups to my man CeeLo, you know what I'm saying, for actually, you know, making it known that this is, you know, our music. Yeah. For
sure. How many times has Trouble Funk been sampled again?
Man, we overall, Pump Me Up has been sampled by major artists at least 70 or 80 times. That's Pump Me Up alone. Trouble Funk has been sampled over 300 something times by all kinds of artists. I mean, you name them. Guy, Public Enemy, George Michael, man, you name them. And what's her name from Destiny's Child?
Not Michelle Williams, but Kelly Rowland. Yeah,
Kelly Rowland. Yeah, I got a gold record. She used "Let's Get Small" beat in her first gold record. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I can go on and on. Will Smith,
Beastie Boys.
Man, Beastie Boys. Man, I should have brought my list with me. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, you know, man, on and on and on. You probably can name them off the top of your head more than I can, man. But yeah, many artists.
Other than Snoop Dogg, have any of those artists you feel shown, you know, appreciation and love to Trouble Funk and or just go-go as a whole as a result of that? Or are they found a cool record, they sampled it, and they moved on?
Yeah, pretty much they moved on. But, you know, I was fortunate to do a few years ago, I did African Bambaata's, like, I think it was like his 25th anniversary or something like that. And KRS-One actually got on the stage with us, and that was fun. You know, he kept on telling us, he said, yeah, Trouble, let's hit some of that Criminal Minded. And it's like, what's that? Yeah, I found out later. that was actually a Let's Get Small sample, you know.
Yep. Yeah. So, well, Rock the Bells is LL Cool J.
Oh, yeah. Rock the Bells. Rock the Bells, LL. Yeah, that's. You know, I'll tell you a funny story about that real quick. I seen LL at a music conference back then when that was out, you know, and I introduced myself and I was like, yo, man, thanks for, you know, sampling the record and, you know, Pump Me Up. Yeah, I'm one of the writers, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, cool. And he gave me a glass of champagne and walked away.
That's funny. I met LL.
That was funny.
He was very nice, but there was no champagne involved. But okay, so I have one final very important question that is a bit of a controversial topic in our community. What is the difference between a pocket and a socket?
Okay, I'm gonna try to answer this question as Honestly, it's possible. When we were coming up, it was just one of those things where if the drummer got out of place, we would just say, "Hey, lock that thing in the pocket." You know, it's like it's as simple as that. If the tempo got too fast, we'll say put it in the socket. Gotcha. Now, let's move fast forward. Now, the new generation of go-go musicians, they gave it their own interpretation, which is fine with me. You know what I'm saying? You know, being one of the originators of go-go, it's like, you know, things have to evolve, and sometimes the language, you know, it started way back with Chuck. It's like, you know, like Smokey Robinson going to a go-go, Chuck took that and gave it a whole nother interpretation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now with the youngins, their interpretation of a pocket or a socket is how you use the hi-hat. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
Yeah, so if the hi-hat is open, I think they said that's a socket. If it's closed, it's a pocket. You know what I'm saying? So if you got the hi-hat, that's a socket there. You know, I think I got that right. Yeah.
Well, the way, you know, I came up in the 90s, obviously a little bit later, and the way I understood the difference between the pocket and the socket is when you're riding the high conga on the eighth note. So boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, bop. That makes it a socket. And a pocket is the two middle congas. Bop, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, bop, boom, boom. That's a pocket. And the socket is boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, bop. That's what I always understood it as. But I guess there is no official definition anymore. It's just whatever you.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the wonderful things about go-go. It can, you know, go-go is like we have no set rules about it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's go-go is like a rich cracker. It goes with anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, and it has many different, you know, because it's such a improv type of music. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The only thing that I think we can actually say about go-go that everybody agrees with is that, you know what I'm saying, call and response is a great part of the music. The percussion, all the percussion and stuff like that is definitely a great part of it. You know what I'm saying? And just the fact that the music just keeps going and going and going, you know, that's go-go. You know what I'm saying? And something that you can't learn, you got to live it.
Okay, Tony, we've caught a couple of glimpses of your hat throughout. Obviously, we see the Trouble Funk logo on the shirt.
Yes, sir.
Give us a little background on the hat, and my guy Mon too. Give us a little background.
Man, this is local here. My man Montu, you know, gave me this hat, and he has a company called Mitchcraft. So we actually sell these in the shirts, and we have the Trouble Funk logo. That's the Trouble Funk edition of the I Love Go-Go.
Awesome. Yeah, pull it down a little bit more so everybody can see it.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah, so you can go to mitchcraft.com if you're interested in ordering. As a matter of fact, man, I want to get one of your shirts, man, as well, because I like what I saw, man. So I wear 4X, can't hit. You know what I'm
saying? You got it, man. You know, I'm going to take care of you. I got you covered. All right,
cool.
All right.
That's what's up.
Well, Tony, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining today's masterclass.
My pleasure,
with 202Creates. Thanks again to our audience. We hope you enjoyed the discussion, and remain connected to 202Creates by visiting 202Creates.com.
That's a wrap on another edition of 202 Creates Masterclass. I'm your host, Britt Waters, and I definitely want to give a big shout out to Malachai Johns of Go-Go Ticks and Live and Big Tony Fisher of Trouble Funk. Thank you guys for letting us pick your brains. If you're curious about who's next, make sure you follow us at 202 Creates. And to get tapped into all of our resources, go to 202Creates.com. I'll see you next time.